Our live video series. This day, we are going to look at the 2022 Kia Sorento EX PHEV. That's a lot of letters. It's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. It gets great efficiency, and you guys chose this. And you guys chose this by following me on Instagram. So do me a favor, guys. If you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, follow me on Instagram. Only because I think we should do this more often. I think you guys should choose the vehicles for me, and we'll do the videos just for you. So there's my Instagram channel. You can go back and check that out if you need to. But yeah, choose the channel if you want. All right, so here's the thing. We were going to do the K5 or this. 38% of you chose the K5, 62% of you chose this. So we'll get to the K5 in the upcoming days this week, or probably next week at this point. So if you've never joined us before, this is a live video. And if you're watching it and it's not 2 o'clock on a weekday, 2 o'clock Eastern time on a weekday, then you can just skip ahead to the 3-minute mark where we get going with the content. In the meantime, we're going to let our live audience jump on board here. And if you want to know how to join us, I'll show you how to do that right now. All right, flip the camera around here. If you want to join us, go to our YouTube channel, and we look like that. If you refresh the page exactly at 2 o'clock Eastern time, you will see that the live video sort of takes over our homepage there. And you're going to click into that video like that, and you'll have to watch a quick little ad. We're going to skip that ad. Ooh, this is a pretty looking car. What is that? Oh, look at that. That's a Hyundai. All right, so we're going to, actually, it's a Kia, excuse me, Kia. All right, skipping ads. All right, so if you are looking to buy a car in Ontario, connect with me. There'll be a description in the link in the description of this video as soon as I'm done, and you can click that. You can get in touch with me, and I will help you buy from Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, or Owen Sound Hyundai. Those are the 3 dealers that support this channel, and they're awesome to work with. So yeah, there's that. All right, we have a full minute to go. I don't really have a lot of news and notes. I haven't planned news and notes for today. So it's a lot of the recycled type information, the same stuff we're going to have in some of the future or some of the past videos. We've talked about EVs and that kind of thing. I do have a Kia class coming out, which is about EV related stuff. I'll have that out this afternoon. Right now we have a little bit of a cable internet issue, so I am working on my mobile network while they're fixing up our internet. So this live video will still work, but I can't really upload the other videos. So we'll do that this afternoon. So look for the Kia and Hyundai class. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we do short videos as well. And you can stay tuned for that and join us for those. All right, we got 47 people on. We got like almost no likes. So do me a favor, if you are a regular with us, hit the like button right now. Let's see if we can get a whole bunch of people to join us. Maybe give us a few extra likes, just even sympathy likes are fine. And we'll see if we can get going. Got 12 seconds to go here. So just so we're clear again, you guys requested this video. That's why we're doing it. So 5 seconds. Thanks everybody for joining. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here we go. 3-minute mark of our video. This is Kia Sorento EX Plus. And if you've seen a Kia Sorento EX Plus and it doesn't look like this, it's probably because you're thinking of the gasoline model, and this is the PHEV. So the PHEV has a number of differences. We did do a video of those differences, and I'll flip the camera around again here, recently. So if you want to search our channel, you can find the differences between the gasoline one and the regular one. But we haven't done this one in detail in a while, so that's what we're going to do. Somebody asked a great question. They want a 120 volt plug demo, so we'll see if we can do that. I don't know if I can pull this out of the plastic or if it's readily available. If we don't do it here, we'll do it in the next shorter video. All right, so really quickly, if you are on Kia's website, you will see this vehicle. There's a hybrid, which is an HEV, another HEV that's an EX, a PHEV that's an EX, so that's a plug-in hybrid. We'll talk about what that means in just a second here. And then there's an EX Plus and an SX. So we are at the EX Plus level, which on the gasoline model has always been one of the ones that I feel like is one of the best values, and I think it holds true here. Keep in mind, there is a government discount on this, $50,595, and you get a lot of nice features in here, including the larger screen and some of the software that comes along with that, and I think that's really worth it. So one of the things you can see is I have the car locked right now, and I'm just trying to give you a different review than I've done in the past of this same car, but if you want to see more of it, of course, this channel is the one for you. Hit subscribe. Right now, you can see when I approach the vehicle, that mirror folds out. When I walk away, it'll eventually fold back in, and that's because the proximity key on this vehicle, or the keyless entry key, there it goes, it folds in again. The keyless entry key can sense when you are nearby. And the most valuable feature of that is when I approach the rear of the vehicle here. Now, I am going to take the key out of my pocket just so you can see it in my hand, like this. I'm not going to touch any buttons on it. While we're looking at the key, let's just take a quick look. You do have remote start on that key, which on a PHEV is a little different. We'll talk about PHEVs in a second here. And then you have all these buttons here. So I could hold down that button there to pop the trunk, but I'm not going to touch any buttons at all. There's no buttons on the back side. Not going to touch any buttons. As we approach the back of the vehicle, you're going to possibly hear, depends on the audio, 5 beeps in 3 seconds, and you're going to see the lights blink. I'm not going to touch the button. I'm not going to wave my foot underneath the vehicle or anything like that, but I've set this up for the smart tailgate feature. And just like when I approach the side, the driver's door there, the mirrors pop out. When I approach the trunk will open, but won't do it instantly. So we approach the back of the vehicle. There we go. It senses the key nearby. 5 beeps in 3 seconds, and it comes up on its own. So that is how you can open the trunk. Just keep that in your pocket, approach the vehicle, and if you don't want it to do that, you don't have to have it do that. So that's just a nice little option to have it. And then, of course, the nice little feature here, because you never have to take that key out of your pocket, even to open the trunk or something like that, you can close the trunk using this, or you can close and lock the vehicle, which we'll do right now, by pressing that button. Same idea, the lights beep, blink, everything beeps, and instead of just closing the trunk, it now closes it and locks it. You can see that there. So that extra button is really nice because then you know the vehicle's locked when you walk away. You don't have to, if you have the key in your pocket, you don't have to walk back around here and tap that button. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to go through some of the driver's area. We're going to go middle row seat. I will jump in the third row seat. We'll look at trunk space. We'll look at lighting. We'll talk about the PHEVs overall. Somebody said that's a great question. How close do you need to be? I don't have an exact measurement, but it has to sense it. If I am back over here, it's not going to sense it. If I'm standing here, it will sense it. So I don't know the exact distance. And like I said, if you get too close, like say you're cleaning snow, and again, the system can be turned off, so you don't have to activate it. But if you get too close and you hear it beeping or see it blinking, let's say you're clearing some snow, then you can just walk away for a quick second. You can turn it off. You can do other things. Just unlocking the vehicle, for instance, will also prevent it from opening, or unlocking and doing that kind of thing. It only does that when it's locked. So there's lots of ways to do that without having it open on you. But yeah, if you're back here-ish, it won't open. If you're right sort of near it, it will. You usually have to be close enough that you just have to kind of step back a tiny bit when it swings open. That's kind of a good rule of thumb for how close you have to be. All right, didn't mention while we're talking trunk and cargo, I want to point out the long roof rails on this. A lot of SUVs, for whatever reason, they start their cross rails back here behind the front door of the vehicle. So you have a much shorter cross rails. If you're ever carrying something up there, the longer the cross rails you have, the better. And this one has that even on the PHEV. And since we're talking about things you can do with the PHEV, if you want to tow a trailer, this tows up to 2,000 pounds, which is not bad for a PHEV. All right, let's jump in. PHEV, what is a PHEV? Well, first of all, and this is a quick disclaimer, this one has not been through our shop. It came straight from the compound to me. I know that this has a low 12-volt battery. If we have a problem in this vehicle, it's because it hasn't gone through our shop yet and it's got hasn't been prepped essentially for this video or for a customer or anything else. So if there's a problem, don't blame the vehicle, blame us. All right, so PHEV, what is it? Well, first of all, it's got battery packs in this vehicle underneath that can power the vehicle exclusively on electric power. It also has a gasoline engine, and they work in tandem to create 261 horsepower and 258 foot-pounds of torque in an all-wheel drive platform that allows you to run up to about 51 kilometers of pure electric range, or a combination of electric and gas mixed together. So if you run out of plugged-in range, then you will get around 7.2, 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers, which is still, I mean, I'm not good at math, but 20, 30-ish% better than the equivalent vehicle with the gasoline vehicle. So you're going to get great fuel mileage even if you never plug in. But if you do plug in, then you're getting into a situation where you're running on pure electric power around town. It can go highway speeds, but of course 51 kilometers isn't going to take you everywhere. And the biggest knock I hear against PHEVs is, well, I drive way more than 50 kilometers, so that's no good to me. And I'm going to go, wait a minute, what? First of all, every time the first 51 kilometers, you can do almost pure electric power. And it doesn't work as well in the winter. We'll talk about that. But you still have hybrid fuel mileage otherwise. And a lot of PHEVs, once they run out of that pure electric range, the mileage isn't that good. That's not how Kia and Hyundais work. So Kia and Hyundais, when it's in the winter and you're using a lot of climate control, will run the engine a little bit extra. That engine doesn't always power the wheels. Sometimes it's just idling while you're still using electric power to accelerate and stuff like that. But it will run the engine a little bit more in the winter. You're still going to get great mileage, and that's what I want you to pay attention to, is the mileage, not if the engine's on or off. 3 seasons of the year, you're going to run a lot of engine off, electric motor only driving in this vehicle. All right, taking a look inside here. The PHEV is different. We talked about that than the regular vehicle. So a lot of the same stuff though here, power seats, leather seats, perforated seats here. We'll talk about them in a second. One difference here is on the EX Plus in the gas, this is a wood-looking panel. It's not actually real wood, but it very much looks like wood, and you don't get the ambient lighting. So in this vehicle, the PHEV, you do get ambient lighting, and that shows up there. You can change the color of that. It's pretty cool. It just looks kind of neat at night. When that is not lit, it just looks like a silver kind of panel. So it's kind of deceiving the way it kind of comes out. It just, you know, instead of having an obvious area where light comes out, it looks like a regular plastic metallic type panel. But when the ambient lighting is up, you can see that. So that's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to start the vehicle by pressing my foot on the brake and starting it fully up. This is not something that I can sustain because this vehicle is quite cold. If I require some heat, it's going to start running the engine because it's a cold vehicle. It was sitting outside not too long ago. So at some point in this demonstration, I will have to turn the vehicle off. But right now, I could drive away on pure electric power. You can see it's basically fully charged, 49 kilometers of range. Looks like it's got a pretty good tank of gas there, 511 kilometers total of electric. And then over up top, 560 kilometers of total range. You do a smaller fuel tank in this vehicle than you do in the gasoline version of this car. But for the most part, that's not going to make a whole lot of difference because of the increased mileage. One thing I like while we're looking at right here, this is the panoramic sunroof, which I'm going to open just the cover. You can see just the cover can open like that. It is pretty awesome to have a fully glass roof in this vehicle, and a large section of it opens, which is pretty cool. So that's just something that if I forget to mention, I want to point that out. So again, PHEV, basically, it's going to just get you great mileage. If you don't understand anything about it, just drives like a normal car, except when you get home, you're going to go click and plug it in. If you can plug in a cell phone, you can plug in a PHEV vehicle. It's very, very simple, and you don't have to plug it in, that kind of thing. All right, so there's your gauge cluster. The other weird thing is your gauge cluster over here. As we're driving, this is going to go in the economy range up into the area there. As we're coasting or braking, you're going to see that gauge come down here, and that indicates that it's charging the batteries, which is going to give you some extra range. If you get into this dotted area here, you are going to see some gasoline engine use for the most part in that area. Now, we did take this off in the snow when we had about 6 or 8 inches of snow here the other day. But last week or so, we took this out, we got it stuck, we explained the drive modes, we explained the pros and cons of winter driving, so feel free to check that video, which is just about a week or so previous to this one. This is January 27th, I believe, so around a week or so previous to this, you can see that video. So we're not going to talk too much about the four-wheel drive and traction, we're just going to talk about the overall vehicle here. So the EX Plus model gives you this 10.25-inch screen here, and that's a nice little upgrade because you get a little bit extra software in here. So if I throw the car in reverse right now, you're going to see a nice big display screen here with a backup camera. You also have the parking sensors in the front and the parking sensors in the rear. So these are those beepers that are going to beep progressively quicker. In fact, we'll just show you for a second. We'll go backwards. We'll try not to hit the wall here. I should probably be looking in a mirror instead, but we're going to hopefully let them beep for a second. Again, this car hasn't been through the stage. So there you go. It's starting to sense that there's some in the general section behind the car. There is some something close by. If I go closer, it'll go yellow. In this side, it'll light up in a second here too. If I just go a little closer, I don't want to go too much closer. Okay, now we're getting pretty close, but it will go yellow and will go red. I don't want to go too close because it's sensing that door and that kind of thing. But you can see that it beeps and warns you exactly where the item or where something is. And of course, I'm driving indoors right now because I'm driving on pure electric power and I have no emissions. So really good backup camera with those beepers is a nice kind of function. And again, looks good on that screen because it's crystal clear. A couple other things I like about here, you've got all kinds of information. So if you just want to look at the PHEV information, you've got all kinds of things. You can tap into some of these things and it gives you exact, we're at 97% battery, you know, takes a while to charge the last little bits of the battery. So I always say when you're filling up a battery, the last little bit, it's kind of like pouring a glass of milk. You could pour it very quickly to fill up most of it, but at the very top end of it, you got to kind of go slowly. So if you're saying 9 minutes to go another 3 percentage, that may not work out to the math of how long it takes to actually charge the vehicle, but you get the idea. You can see a whole bunch of things in here as well. Charge stations nearby will tell you the charge stations that are in this navigation. This is sort of a rough idea of here's my range I could go if the world was flat and if I had a straight road everywhere. That's kind of how far I could go. There's a navigation here. This is a darker theme right now because it sees that we're outside, or it thinks we're in a darker environment because we're indoors, not outside. So charging stations will be listed. There's one 1.2 kilometers away. What I would do with charging stations is you don't have to seek them out because it's a regular gasoline vehicle. But what I would do is get a cell phone app and use those instead. And that cell phone app can be used with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is under the phone projection menu here. And Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, let me show you. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you can have that there in the phone projection menu there. And that's a better way to find charge stations, in my opinion, although the factory navigation is very good for most things as well. All right, let's just look at a couple other unique features here. Let's see if we can get the HD radio data. It hasn't been outside much, but Doppler radar, let's see, it's a little cloudy in the area. Yeah, a little bit of snow in the area, so there's some snow over there, snow over there. So you have a little Doppler radar station right here in the car, which is pretty fun to have. You also have traffic situations, so you can see HD traffic. The HD radio gives you some information. Fuel prices in the area as well. You might want to know fuel prices. So not only can you search by brand, by fuel type, by favorites, and again, it does take regular fuel, so you can kind of see, and you can search the gas prices in our area. This is Canadian prices, of course. And so those are just kind of cool features. Quiet mode is another one that's kind of useful in a 3-row vehicle. So what that does is when you read here, when quiet mode is selected, radio or media is played only in the front seats. All volume levels above 7 will be decreased to 7 automatically. So it kills the rear speakers. Basically means you can listen to your music up front here. If you got kids in the back, they don't have to listen to your music as loudly if they're sleeping, or if they got their earbuds in, they want to listen to their own music. You're not interfering with your music, and it's pretty cool to have. And I like that feature. I think it's a good feature to have. And then, of course, you've got some more options over here. UVO Intelligence is one thing in here. So it's UVO Intelligence, which is now Kia Connect. Basically, that is a cell phone app that allows you to remote start the car. It also allows you to monitor things like the charge in here. So there we go. Somebody's saying something about 500 pounds. So I missed that. I'll get your questions in a second. A couple other little things I like. They do have the UVO Intelligence buttons used to be on the mirror. They're now up here, which means your mirror is just a little more thinner bezel, but you still have the 3 garage door openers there, 1, 2, and 3, which are just easy to reach and touch to open 3 different garage doors. Down here, I am going to turn the vehicle off now. So we're going to turn it to the off position. I'm going to go back to the on position. So basically, I've turned the car on. You know how you used to do with the key, couple clicks to the on, but didn't quite start it? That's the setting I'm in. That's what I usually do for our videos. I'm going to turn on the climate system here. I didn't want the climate system to kick the engine on. So you've got dual zone climate system here with the switches that can move this everything up and down. And if you want to unsync it, you can just have the passenger touch their own temperature, or you can sync it together by syncing the left and right. There is a driver only mode on PHEVs or hybrids. This can be useful to just kill all the vents anywhere but on the driver. So once the vehicle is up to temperature, you can use that to keep the vehicle from running the gasoline engine at times. It's just in an EV, it might save you a kilometer or so of range overall, but on a PHEV, it can prevent that gasoline engine from coming on if you want to sort of hypermile. Most of the time, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it does give you that option there. So nice little climate system there. Gonna turn it off again, just so we don't have any fan noise in the microphones here. And a couple little nice, a lot of people say this is very Star Wars-ish looking here, the vent structure, but the top ones you can aim left, right, or up or down, and the bottom ones are a little bit left or right, but they're already aimed down, so you get that warm air on your legs, which is kind of nice, or cool air on your legs, as well as having this directed to your body, which I just think makes sense. Down here, you have a nice little system that can be closed there. It looks like fingerprints are pretty bad in here, but somebody had dirty, greasy fingers in here, and I know exactly who was in there. They were looking at this car right after they had lunch, so this is not actually as dirty as as bad as it says. So you can wipe that down. What I always do with this high gloss stuff, microfiber, with the piano black, keep a microfiber cloth in the center console. Every now and then just give it a quick little wipe. And as long as you're not too greasy, these wipe down no problem. So it looks terrible on video, but it's not that bad in real life. I know some of you don't like piano black. I quite like it in my car. Down here, there is a wireless phone charger. That is a ventilated one, so that keeps the heat from rising. It also is a little faster charging than in previous vehicles. And then you got 3 USB ports there. Heated seats, or as I like to call them, rump roasters. And then, of course, you also have the gear shift knob that is a dial. All of the electric vehicles or plug-in hybrids as well, they're going with these dial-style gear shifters instead of the lever. Some people like them, some people don't. I think you get used to them very, very quickly. This one works very well, and it feels very premium. It's got a nice sort of, metallic feel. It sounds like a tink. I don't know if you can hear that. It doesn't sound like plastic or feel like plastic. It has a real metallic type feel to it, which just is nice. It's a higher end kind of feel. We talked a lot about the EcoSport Smart and then the snow, mud, and sand mode. So we have these in Canada. You don't always have the mud and sand mode in the States. We have the terrain modes there. If you want to know more about these, the video that we did where we got stuck in the snow with this vehicle about a week ago is the other one to check out, just to tell you a little bit more how that works. Heated seat and heated steering wheel. Speaking of the heated seat, remember I turned the rump roaster on just a second ago? I already feel it through the leather seat. So very high quality heated seat there. Hill descent control, electronic parking brake. You can pull up your parking or your cameras anywhere you want, and your parking beepers you can turn on or off, which is useful if you're towing a trailer, so it doesn't beep at you when you're reversing or something like that. EV, HEV, this is one of the most important buttons, so I'll try to explain it as quickly and easily as I can. Normally, when you start this car, it's going to default to in warmer temperatures. In the middle of the winter, it's going to start the gasoline engine. We talked about that. But 3 seasons of the year, you start this car, it's probably going to start in electric. It may run the gasoline engine a little bit, but it's going to aim for electric only. Once you have electric only, you can drive around town. Now, what happens if you want to save your electric only range, 51 or so, 49 or so kilometers here? What happens if you want to save that for the end of your trip or midway through your trip? Well, you can hit that HEV button. You can drive as a hybrid. So again, that's around 7.2, 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers. And then when you get to your destination, you want to putz around maybe the campground, the park, your friends, or even just want to show off that this car can drive pure electric. You can get there, you can hit that EV button, put it back into an EV mode, and it works really well. All right, here we go. We got 100 people on. We got 58 people that said, yes, this is totally worth a like today. Do me a favor, guys. We're going to go take a few questions. Then we're going to go rear seat, back seat. We might show some lighting as well, but I want to show you rear seat and light seat. Engine start settings, top left of the app screen on your phone, basically across the vehicle status button. Program everything there. Oh, okay. So you guys are answering questions for me. All right. So I'm just trying to answer some of your questions here. But do me a favor, hit the like button. We're going to go answer some questions, and then we'll jump in the front, rear, or middle and rear seats. So let's jump over here. All right. Coming around, we'll try to show you the vehicle, not me, for a second. There we go. Okay. So let me just pop it back to me. We'll take your questions here as best I can. So what have we got here? A whole lot of conversation going on here. So bear with me, guys. It's a little tough for me to pick out all the questions. When do I think the Hyundai will... Oh, yeah, so there's a cluster recall in the Hyundai Santa Fe. I don't have any information on that recall right now. I know that there's a software issue there. So last I checked, they have the hardware probably available. They're just waiting for a software fix. I don't expect it to take too long to fix some of those things. So, okay. One of my regulars said, I hope they remember to tell me to check the keys, and I did. All right. So somebody says the RAV4 Prime has a heat pump to heat while in EV mode, the gas engine doesn't have to run. Does the Sorento have that one as well? So it does not have the heat pump on our PHEV. I like our system, and there's a whole reason I like our technology. In the winter, you're going to run that gasoline engine a little bit. Now, keep in mind, you want to get the fuel efficiency, not just the no gasoline thing, right? So if you want a pure electric vehicle, buy a pure electric vehicle. They all have their pros and cons to the system. And I can talk about Chrysler system, Toyota system, and our system. They all have pros and cons. Ours will run the gasoline engine a little bit, but keep in mind, you want it to run that gasoline engine a little bit because as you get full power in this vehicle, you'll have that power available. The other thing with the RAV4 Prime, it's just not available right now. It's a smaller vehicle. There's a lot of reasons why that may not be the best option for everybody compared to this. It does have one thing that people seem to like, which is having that gasoline engine stay off in the winter at times, but that's not always the case. It's there's pros and cons, and there's a whole tech discussion we should have about that. Maybe I'll do that sometime. All right. I'm assuming that PHEV batteries experience the same degree of phantom drain as fully electric vehicles. Has this been your experience? So that phantom drain thing, first of all, we have a Tesla parked outside here. Oh, I just moved it away. I can tell you that the phantom drain out of the Tesla that we have is way more than out of my Kia Soul EV. For whatever reason, that has more of a phantom drain. So while we call it phantom drain, basically when you park an electric car, sometimes you'll have some drain in the battery. The PHEV will lose a tiny bit of battery over time as well. I don't think it'll be as bad as some of the electric cars out there. I don't think it's Kia or Hyundai in general have an issue with that in a severe sense of that phantom drain. That's a Tesla thing a lot more than it is a Kia thing. But yeah, if you park a car, the battery will drain a tiny bit. Again, on a PHEV, not a real big concern. You can plug it in, and you're never stranded in a PHEV because you have gasoline stations everywhere. Is it Sorento mechanical all-wheel drive or electric all-wheel drive? It is mechanical. So again, all-wheel drive system, I think today's day and age, the having a driveline is still the preferable thing when you have a gasoline engine and it mixes and that kind of thing. I can explain that in a separate tech video as well. That may change over time, and I may change my opinion on that over time, but this does have a driveline through. Keep in mind the all-wheel drive system on this vehicle, when you come from a stop, doesn't matter what drive mode you're in, doesn't matter what the conditions are, all four wheels receive power, and as it senses that you have traction, then it'll move primarily front-wheel drive, 95% and 5. So it is not a system that waits to lose traction here and then tries to send power to the rear and regain traction. It works very well. I do think it's a good system right now. And like I said, I can see myself changing my opinion in the future, but I do think right now having the front and rear drive connected by drive lines when it's a PHEV, different with an EV, but when it's a PHEV, I think that still is a better system today. And again, I may change my opinion on that in the future. How do you program it so my heated seats steering wheel turn on when the remote's starting it with the key fob? Yeah, so that's a question we had. So best way to do that, when you do it with the key fob, I'm not sure. I have to look into this. I think sometimes on the key fobs, if you have a favorite setting in your app, it may use that on your key fob, but I'm not sure. So at this point, you're gonna use your app to make sure the heated seats and heated steering wheels turn on. On something like a Telluride or on my Hyundai Santa Cruz, you can set the car up when you start the car to have the heated seats automatically come on in cool weather, have the ventilated seats automatically come on in the hot weather, but that's not available in every car. So Telluride can do that, my Santa Cruz can do that. I'm not really aware of any other Kia or Hyundai vehicles that have that system where you can start the car and have those things warm up. So that is, or cool down, so that is that. Tungsten windshield on the grid on this model? No. Only thing that tungsten windshield grids, that we talked about this the other day in the K5 and Carnival. As far as I know, those are the only ones right now for sale in the Kia Hyundai lineup with that grid there. Okay, 2,000 pounds. Yes, 2,000 pounds is the towing capacity, and we'll leave it there. Okay, so we're going late here, so let's just jump in the rear seats here because I want to make sure we cover that today. Lots of good questions here. All right, sitting behind the driver's seat. Open the door here. Oh, this one's down. Sweet. Well, there you go. That's what it looks like down. I'm gonna need 2 hands here to put this up. So bear with me. I'll show you how I do that. I don't have anything to set the camera on, so you get to look at me, unfortunately. All right, so you're gonna lift the lever, pull that up, and no problem. Okay. As we take a look at the seats here, these seats can slide forward, back. They can recline quite a ways. They can do all kinds of things, but even just as they are, it's a pretty good seat. Now, there is one slight little negative, which I don't think any of you are going to notice, but I'm a Kia Hyundai nerd, and I'm going to notice this. When I'm here, I'm comfortable. Headroom is fantastic, especially with the sunroof right there. Overall comfort is excellent. There's a armrest down here that goes too far down, and the reason it goes too far down is because if I tilt this back, it comes up, and you can see with this too far down, I can ratchet it up, and then it stays right there. So the armrest is in perfect spot. You'll notice my legs here. They're flush on the seat. Now, I will say, the floor in this model is just slightly higher than the floor in the gasoline model, which means that if I do this, there is a gap here where I can do that a little bit more in the gasoline model, but most people are not going to notice that comfort difference. You're only going to notice it if you're a bit of a nerd like me. Back here, speaking of comfort overall, you've got a lot going on for you. Heated rear or middle row seats. You've got the little tab there, which I can pull up. Actually, why don't we just do it on this side here? Sorry for my terrible camera work. All right, tab over here, you can pull up as the blinds. They just click into the top right there. Camera adapts pretty well, but this gives you a little extra shade back here if you want it. So again, heated seats there. That's 2 levels of heated seats, I think. Yeah, there we go. 2 levels of heated seats, cup holder there, window thing. Nice stitching, nice soft padding everywhere. Over in the seat in front of me, plastic back seats, which is what I like to see. You can wipe it clean with a wet, damp cloth, and your kids' footprints will be right off there. A little bit of a leather vinyl type, let's call it vinyl pocket here, which is not too stretchy. So you can just have something in there. And then if you want a lot of space for something stretchy, you've got the nice netted pocket down there. You do have the vents here, which can be aimed. They can be turned on or off. 12 volt. 110 volts and USB port there. You also have a USB port in the backs of the seats here. So power, everything is absolutely fantastic. So this is, excuse me, the middle row seat. Now, what I'm gonna do, I don't know if I showed you my knees. Let's just show you my knees. I am a 6-footer. I am sitting behind myself. Who's a 6-footer? Obviously tons of room. Now, third row seat, it's gonna be a little bit tight. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move this up just so I'm comfortable. So I didn't move it too far up, but again, I've got plenty of legroom here, right? Normal size legroom there. With my knee room, and I'm going to sit behind myself in the third row seat, but we're going to get it in from the other side. So first thing I'm noticing is you can see that that seat is a long ways back, a long ways tilted. So I am going to move that front seat forward to a normal position. So if it looks like I'm cheating it, you can call me out on it if you think that's what I'm doing. But I feel like this seat is, yeah, it's fully back on the track. It's too far back. So there is a powered seat here on the EX in case you want to know. Let's just move that forward to, let's call that a normal-ish position right there. I would argue that's pretty normal. And then what we'll do is we open the rear door here, and it's very, very simple to peel plastic. Let's do that first. There's shipping plastic on here because, like I said, this hasn't gone through the shop yet. So it's very simple to put the seats forward. You simply have to touch this button right there. The whole seat pops forward. You can see why I moved that seat forward, just because it gives me a fair amount of space to get in. I could move it more forward as well if I wanted to. Leave the garbage there for a second. All right, climbing in here, there is your regular plug. You can plug this in like a cell phone to a regular wall outlet and charge this car if you wanted to. I'm gonna climb in and I'm gonna show you me because it's not attractive, but it shows you how easy it is to get back here. Now, over here, passenger side seat, no problem here, right? Headroom, pretty good. Legroom, whoops, let's go the other way. I'm not used to switching hands on this camera. You can see here, my legs are off the seat. It's not going to be crazy comfortable for an adult back here. This is not a replacement for a minivan. It is a vehicle, however, that you can stick an adult in the third row seat. So remember that third row seat that I moved, or the middle row seat I moved forward? Well, here we go. I moved it just comfortably forward and created a lot of knee room here. So I probably have the same amount of knee room in the front as I do in the back. But as you can see, my legs are on a higher angle here. This is best for kids, but definitely doable for short trips for adults. So pretty comfortable back here, given what it is. Now let's just take a look over here. You do also have rear climate controls here. The shipping plastic is still in there, so that shininess and poor finish is just because there's some plastic on top. On off, and the fan control for the rear air conditioning. You can fold the middle row seats down, put a 12-volt plug in there, and you also have a place to put a cell phone or something down there or whatever you want. And of course, there's a USB port on both sides here as well, and a pocket there. So, all right, so I'm gonna climb out right now. Somebody wanted me earlier to plug in this, charger here. So there's really nothing to it. This end plugs into the car, which is the traditional end there. And where's the other plug here? There is the other plug right there. It is literally just a normal plug that plugs into the wall. There's not a whole lot to show you there, other than it plugs in the wall and it plugs in the car, and it's super simple. And I think it's about 15 feet, maybe 19. I think somebody measured that for me at one point, but it works very well. And you can use it indoors or outdoors. It's not a big deal that way. So climbing out, I'm gonna hold on to the upper handle here and climb out. I just knocked the seatbelt, which was probably the less nice way to get out, but easy to get in and out. All right, 105 people have said, let's watch this. 87 has said, let's do this. So 105 people are live with us, which means we're gonna have 500, 600, 700 people have touched in through this video in the live video. Let's just go for it. Let's see if we can get the last 13 likes and go for 100 likes. So if you haven't liked it yet, do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm gonna skim through your comments again. Obviously, there's a bunch I'm gonna miss. If you have a question specific to this vehicle, please feel free to re-ask it right now at the bottom. There is some commentary through here, and it just becomes a little tougher for me to find some of your questions, so I don't mind that. Oh yeah, one of our regulars says, good enough room in the back seats to get to Switch LA. Exactly. The idea with the Sorento is you've got those spare seats to take people, even adults, short trips. I would be perfectly comfortable going there for probably up to an hour. After that, that's probably a little much, but if we had to go from here to Toronto, go see a Jays game or something like that in the summer, not a big deal back there. All right, do you guys have the urban trim of the Tucson? So I think we did at one point, but I don't have it right now. Bought mine last October in Quebec. No news yet on when we'll get it. Yeah, that's the thing. If you want one of these, there is an ordering process. It's gonna take a little bit of time. We'll do our best to keep you updated on the timelines that we're given. So the initial, when you place the order, they give us a prediction and they say, here's when you can expect it. Once your car is built, then, or about to be built, somewhere in that time frame, we get a VIN number. Once we have a VIN number, then we can start tracking things fairly accurately. So it'll go from production to at sea, these are made in Korea. Then it'll go to on rail, which is of course a train coming across the country from Vancouver to wherever we are. Then it'll go into the compound where we can hopefully get it or get it onto a truck. And then from the compound to the dealership to you. So that's the process. It does take some time. BC Townlands around September 2022. Should we just wait for the 2023 Sorento PHEV? No, don't wait. So what'll happen now is there are car lines, and I don't know where this one's at today, where if you order one today, it will be a 2023 model. Don't wait if you want one. I mean, if you want to wait it out and just say, hey, this isn't the time for me to buy a car, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you to buy a car or not buy a car now. I just want you to buy the right car. That's why I do these videos, to make sure you buy the right car. When you buy is totally up to you. But if you want one of these, don't wait. You need to place an order soon because especially PHEVs, EVs, they're selling extremely quickly and they will take a while. Somebody says they're still waiting for their Santa Cruz ordered on August 13th. Hopefully you're not Canadian because I ordered my Santa Cruz in August. The very end of August, I ordered my Santa Cruz and it showed up in November. So if you're Canadian, that seems like a long time. Is it possible to remote start the heated seats with, you're saying Blue Link on the Santa Fe? Yeah, on the Santa Fe. Yes, Santa Fe, Sorento, you can both remote start through the cell phone app, whether that's Blue Link on Hyundai or Kia Hyundai Kia has the Kia Connect / Uvo Intelligence. You can turn on your heated seats from the cell phone app. So that's right. Somebody's asking me about the maximum kilowatt charge. I don't remember off the top of my head, guys. Some of that's in the owner's manual. It's a really specific number that, to be very honest, for our audience, less relevant. It'll be in the specs, but when I introduce that, I have to explain it, and it's harder to explain to an audience that's not used to that. What's the 0 to 60 when you're on electric and gas and when you're on pure gas? So 0 to 60 on pure electric isn't a time because you won't go full throttle. As soon as you're full throttle in this car, it will start the gasoline engine as well, because keep in mind the electric motor is not full horsepower. So at any point, even if you're in EV mode only, if you floor it, it's not going to limit your power to electric only. Like if you need to floor it to get out in front of that transport truck, it's not going to be like, hey, you said you're an EV, I'm not going to give you full power. So when you floor it, even in EV mode, it switches to gasoline and EV. In other words, it gives you full power, both motors working together. So 0 to 60 on electric only, you would have to baby the throttle. Not baby, but you're not going to race it, right? So you can drive highway speeds, you can drive it in town, get onto the highway doing it pure electric. But 0 to 60, you would have gasoline and electric working together. So yeah, so there's that. You're in Whitby and you ordered, oh man, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I ordered my Santa Cruz in late August and I got it in November. So that's all I can tell you. If you order through us, I can chase it down. If you didn't order through us, you'll have to just connect with your dealer and see what's going on there. Are Kias as reliable as Hondas? Because I really like this Sorento. Get asked this all the time. When you go to a Honda dealer, when you go to a Toyota dealer, they'll tell you, well, we've got Honda reliability, Toyota reliability. Yep, they do. So now go check the actual stats and specs and see where Kia and Hyundai land. You're going to see that Kia and Hyundai are right near the top of the thing. They're not always ahead, but they're often ahead of Honda. They're right up there with Toyota, that kind of thing. So when you look at reliability statistics, the things that Toyota and Honda built their reputations on, those awards, that's what Kia is winning right now. So they'll tell you about their reputation, but they're talking about things in the 80s and 90s and maybe 2000s. It's 2022, and when we talk about reliability, you'll see that these Korean brands are right there at the top. So there we go. Last question I'll take is thoughts on an electrified Santa Cruz in the future. Yeah, like let's call it a mini Rivian. That's what a Santa Cruz electric would be to me. That'd be cool. And as far as a PHEV in the Santa Cruz, it's possible. I don't know if they'll bring it out. I think it depends on how well that vehicle sells, but I think it would be worth it. All right, tons of questions in the comment section, guys. So do me a favor. I'll go back through those questions later. It sounds like it was a good video. You guys chose this video because you were following me on Instagram. So continue to follow me on Instagram because I could have done a K5 video today and not gone through these questions. We could have, but you guys chose this one, so that's perfect. Some of the questions I missed, I'll go through them. I'll try to make more videos. We make videos every single day here, and I'll cover that. There is a video coming out this afternoon, Kia Hyundai class, about EVs, locking your charge cable. You can check that out today. And I want to thank everyone for joining us. Got 110 likes out of this, so appreciate that, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.